Hey folks, Alan Mandic, the Hot Rod Hippie here. This week's video we're reviewing 3 work lights from the folks at Sunex Tools. I've been using these lights for about 3 months now, so what do I really think about them? Let's check it out. So let's get one thing out of the way before we get too deep into this video. Sunex has sponsored content in the past from me. This is not sponsored content. This is not a sponsored video. This is my true, honest opinion of these lights after some months of using them. I will never do paid reviews. They should not exist. They're nothing but ads. This is my true, honest opinion. I will give you positives and I will give you negatives of these lights. So let's go ahead and get into it. What I have here are 3 work lights from the folks at Sunex Tools. They have various specifications and different design factors, of course. So we're gonna go ahead and go through some of the specifications of these. I'm gonna show you them in operation, and then I'm gonna tell you what I really think of them after some months of using them. So the 3 lights we have the Flood Light, we have the Logo Light, and we have the Swivel Light. The Flood Light is rated at 1000 lumens, the Logo Light is rated at 400 lumens, and the Swivel Light is rated at 300 lumens. All 3 of these lights charge through USB-C, quickly becoming the gold standard for charging ports, for data ports. I'm really happy to see that. My cell phone charges through USB-C, I've got USB-C hard drives. It's just a great protocol. You can't plug it in wrong, it's reversible. It has high data rate transfer, it doesn't really matter for these lights, but it also can provide plenty of power. Each one of these also comes with their own charging cable. There is no charger included with them, however. The Logo Light and the Swivel Light both have 3 power settings. You can go ahead and set them to a high, medium, and a low output setting. The Flood Light only has 2 settings, high and low. When we're talking about those light output levels, we should probably talk about battery life as well. The Logo Light and the Flood Light are both rated at 3 hours of runtime on high output setting, and the Swivel Light is rated at 2 hours of runtime on high output setting. Next up is pricing. Amazon was best pricing I was able to find as of today when I'm filming this. There are links in the description down below to these lights for you. The little Swivel Light is $29.99. The Logo Light is $39.78, and the Flood Light is $61.31. The Swivel Light is so named because it has a swiveling magnetic base. It has 7 positions you can swivel it into and lock into those different positions for whatever situation you're working in. It also has a hanging hook on the back that you can swivel around and hang this thing off of things as well. The Floodlight also has a swivel kickstand on it. This one has magnets in the kickstand so you can go ahead and hang it or stick it to things, swivel it over 180 degrees to point it different directions for whatever you might need to illuminate. And the Logo Light has a swiveling hook, but it does not have any other swivel function to it. It has 2 different magnet setups, however. It's got magnets on the back side so you can stick it flat to something, and it also has a magnetic base so you can stick it perpendicular off of whatever you're sticking it to. Lastly, the Floodlight has 2 things about it that are different from the other lights. It is IP68 rated, meaning it is rated to a ½ meter depth for 30 minutes of submersion. So maybe if you're working underneath the car and you drop it into your oil drain pan or your coolant drain pan, you don't have to worry about it. I mean, don't leave it in there for half an hour, but get it out of there. As long as the cover was covering up the USB-C charge port, you're gonna be fine. The other difference about the Floodlight is it actually has a battery level indicator. The other 2 do not. So this has 4 little LEDs on the back to indicate to you how much of a charge is on the battery in this thing at any given time. All right, you've heard the specifications. Now let's go ahead and show you these things actually in operation. This is a very difficult thing to translate through video. I don't have a light lux meter to go ahead and test out the actual light output levels of these things. I can visually tell you that the 3 different levels of light output seem mildly accurate. You know, the 1000 lumen light is definitely brighter than the 400 lumen light. The 400 lumen light is definitely brighter than the 300 lumen light. Now I'm keeping the camera settings equal between these 3 lights to show you the different light output levels. So what you're seeing is actually the light output. However, due to the design of cameras, the light settings, you know, ISO settings, aperture settings, there's a lot of variables in this. So this is basically just to show you the fact that they do function. When Sunex first sent me these lights, I actually filmed a little promo video that I just put up on IGTV on Instagram, just to show off these lights and promote them a little bit because they were sponsoring me at that time. And when I did that, I actually used these 3 lights and I filmed myself entirely lit by these 3 lights. The only other light I had in that video was my RGB light for a little splash of color, but it wasn't lighting me personally, it was lighting the background. As far as the color temperature output of these, I don't have a rating for them, they don't specify that. I would personally put them a little over 6,000, probably like 6,500 to 6,800, somewhere around there, but that's a total shot in the dark guess. That means that they are a little bit cooler. They have that slightly bluer look to them, but they're not nearly as bad as some of the really cheap LEDs out there that are just straight up blue. These definitely have a white, blue kind of look to them, a cool temperature that I don't find to be terrible. I'm using them under dashes, working on wiring work, and they're not making the blue look purple or anything like that. After 3 months of using these things, let's get into the things I like and dislike about these lights. First and foremost, battery life. I mentioned the specs, the rating of these lights earlier in this video, but how do they really hold up in real world use? After a couple months of using them, I decided to give them like a break-in period, and then I tested battery life. What I did is I just hit the stopwatch on my cell phone, I turned all 3 lights on, and I went until they died. So I found that the ratings weren't 100% accurate in a good way. The logo light, this thing was rated at 3 hours. It actually lasted 3 hours and 1 minute. So right on the money with that one. The swivel light, this one's rated at 2 hours. I found it to last about 2 hours and 6 minutes. So again, right on the money with that one. However, the floodlight. The floodlight is rated at 3 hours. This thing lasted 4 hours and 14 minutes on a single charge. That was pretty darn impressive to me, at least that it eclipsed its rating so much. The light output levels on these has been really fantastic. Let me tell you what I've been using each one for. The little swivel light, this thing has almost exclusively been used under dash. When I'm underneath the dashboard doing a bunch of wiring work, as I have been doing lately, this thing really handy to be able to swivel it to different directions, stick it underneath there with a magnet, hang it off of that hook. It just works out really nicely in those compact areas, doesn't take up a lot of room itself, but it does shed plenty of light for under dash work. The floodlight I've been using underneath the cars and as an under hood light. So with the magnet and swiveling design, I can actually hang this underneath of a hood to shed light under there, but also I just use that kickstand, set it on the floor, and shine light up on the underside of a car. So when I'm on a creeper working underneath of that car, it's really handy. As far as the logo light is concerned, I've been using this when I'm going to like the parts area in our shop. It's not very well lit, it's up in the loft area of the shop, so I'll take this, I'll use this to look for parts and such. Whenever I need a handheld light is when I've been using this. I've been really happy with it so far in that respect. Okay, I always say no review is complete without negatives. If all you do is say positives about something, you're just doing a product showcase and ad. So the negatives, what don't I love about these lights? The magnets could be the slightest bit stronger. The floodlight, the magnets are pretty strong, they're pretty good. The swivel light, it's a fairly light light, so that's not much of an issue. The biggest one that has a problem is the base magnet on the actual handheld, the logo light. The base magnet is just not quite as strong as I would like it to be. It will hold itself up as long as you're sticking to a heavy enough material. But say this backdrop wall I have here, it's thin sheet metal. This will not stick off of this. The weight's too much for the magnet, for what it's sticking to. It's just not quite as strong as I would like it to be. That said, I've mostly been using this handheld, so that's not such a big issue. Now the biggest problem with these lights is the way you turn them on and off. On is easy. The floodlight and the logo light have nice tactile buttons, I like that. The button on the swivel light is a little bit hard to push. It's not that tactile, it's kind of molded into the design. It's made that way so water intrusion and such, but I don't love it on that light. The problem, however, is you don't just turn them on and turn them off. You turn them on, and then you step through the different power settings. So I'm on high, medium, low, off. Every time you want to turn the light off, you have to go high, medium, low, off, or whatever setting you're on, you have to step through them. I hate that. I really don't like that. I'm used to other lights where you turn it on, you turn it off, and then you hold the button to step through the power levels. Nope, not with these. You have to step through them every time you push the button. And one more thing I dislike is that none of these lights come with a charger. I understand if you bought all 3 lights, you would end up with 3 chargers, and you might not necessarily need that, so it might be silly, and it's a cost-saving measure. I get it. It's not a big deal, but I'm just letting you know they don't come with chargers. They come with charging cables each, but not a charger. A lot of toolboxes now, like Matco and Snap-on boxes, have charge ports built into their power strips or into the face of them. A lot of wall outlets nowadays, you will see charge ports built into them. They come with USB-A to C cables, so it's a pretty standard protocol for you to get chargers for. You have to decide if this is a big negative to you or not. One thing I did note is that my charger for my Pixel 2, which is a high output charger, does not charge these lights. I don't know why. Maybe it's putting out too much voltage and they don't pick up on it, so they shut down or whatever. Just letting you know that my Pixel cell phone charger doesn't charge these lights, but every other charger and computer and wall outlet that I have tried has charged these lights just fine. I mean, those are the pros, those are the cons. Honestly, I really like these lights. I have completely taken up using these lights in different situations with the different lights. I love having all 3 of them. If I was to buy just one of them, I would buy the Floodlight most likely. The higher light output of this thing, the swiveling design, this thing has the overall greatest range of use, I think. Runner up to this one is the logo light for me. I love being able to handheld use this, go up when I'm looking for parts. I really like that thing. The Swivel Light is still very useful, however, it's the weakest of the three, both in light output level and just need for me personally. It is the cheapest, however, so it could be really handy, just little compact light, keep in your pocket when you're working in a shop. I can see the use for this thing. I really do like all three of these, and if you're willing to do it, I would say pick up all three. There are links in the description down below to all three of these lights so you can pick them up for yourself. Those are Amazon affiliate links. That means that I will get a small kickback if you buy through those links. However, it does not cost you anything more than it would if you just went to Amazon on your own. It just helps me to produce these videos for you folks, so please consider using those links in the description down below. Alright folks, I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, go ahead and drop it a like. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this video? What do you think about these lights? I know reviewing the lights seems silly, but in the same regard, they're huge sellers for tool guys, so people are clearly buying them. I should review the ones that I have on hand. Go ahead and check out the Patreon account, patreon.com/HotRodHippie. That directly supports this channel so I can make content for you folks, so I can buy products to review, so I can buy materials to do the metal shaping projects. That really helps out. Go ahead and subscribe to keep up to date with all the content every week. Thanks for coming around, folks.